Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the McFarlane DC Multiverse, DC Direct, Digital, Speedforce Flash. This is a Platinum Chase variant. This is part of the third digital wave. This wave consists of Silver Age Joker and Earth 2 Robin, and then there's the Speedforce Flash Platinum and a Platinum Black Tux Joker mixed into the cases. I'm still on the hunt for one more Black Tux Joker. Huge shout out to my boy Seth for finding this for me. He found this at GameStop and sent it my way. It is much appreciated. So let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see, the Flash from The Flash. McFarlane Platinum Edition. Ages 14 plus. McFarlane Digital. DC Direct. One side of the package, the Flash Speedforce. Other side pretty blank. At the bottom, there's his barcode, if that helps anybody. So far, these are popping up at GameStops and Walmarts in the US. On the back, here's Flash from the comics. This is pretty much the same Flash figure from the Flashpoint wave, but this one has semi-transparent legs as he's in the Speedforce. He has a ton of accessories, 4 Speedforce effects, 2 heads, display stand, collector's card, and the digital card. So with no further ado, let's open him up. Alright, now that we have this figure out of the package, here he is with all the accessories laid out. We have a display stand, collector's card, digital card, 2 alternate heads, and then 4 Speedforce effects. Before we deal with all that, let's talk about and check out the figure. So this is the Flash, specifically Barry Allen, which to me is the main version of Flash. He's not the original, and for many years he wasn't Flash in the comics. This is pretty much the exact same body on the Flashpoint Flash, and I really think the whole reason they're releasing this guy is because that Flash was really hard to get, in high demand, and it is an excellent release. This one is almost the same, except the legs are a little bit different. So let's take a look. Starting with his head here, it looks pretty good. Typical sort of blue eyes, blonde hair. Barry Allen. Now I've seen this head used for a lot of other things. For example, Aquaman, or maybe Jean-Paul Valley with the Azrael armor. But it's a really good Barry Allen head. He has the mask sort of pulled down around his neck, and that's a pretty nice accessory. You can see the lightning bolts inside there. As you go further down, you can see it's done on the Blue Beetle Bushigo body. Look at those really noticeable top abs. That's one of my biggest complaints about that body. That, the wrists, and then sometimes I have trouble standing him up with the ankles, although this guy seems to be a little better than some of the others. They are double-jointed elbows, double-jointed knees. You can see his legs are semi-transparent, and there's, I don't know, glittery, sort of shiny stuff going up and down his legs. It's supposed to be him in the Speedforce. That's the whole point of this guy. It's a way to get an almost normal Flash re-release, but something's a little bit different for us collectors, and it makes sense to have him going through the Speedforce. One sort of noticeable issue, it seems like the trunks are a different color, but maybe I'm wrong about that, because they're sort of the same color as the red above, just not the same as the red below, but that's because they have the Speedforce stuff going on. As a whole, it's a very solid Flash release, and it should be fantastic for those that wanted the original and didn't get him. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt, I think it's a really good unmasked head. Barry Allen from the comics, spot on, very well done, good sculpt, good paint job. And then here's the figure, broken down as far as he can go with all of his removable parts detached. Now let's check out his accessories, starting off with the boring stuff. Here's his display stand, typical McFarlane display stand we've seen countless times before. Only difference is, this one says McFarlane Toys Digital, because it's part of the digital subline. And then we have his collector's card. As you can see, Flash, the fastest man alive. The Flash. On the back, there is a description. If you want to read that, pause now. And then we also have the digital card. In case you're interested in digital action figures, which seems kind of like an insane idea to me, here you go. On the back, there is sort of a little code you can scratch off and redeem your digital figure, which does not interest me at all, but I am going to redeem him and add him to my digital collection for no real good reason. Now let's check out his heads. He has 2 heads, one with a mask on, and one the unmasked Barry Allen head. Here he is, with the unmasked Barry Allen head. And then here he is with the traditional Flash head, which looks fantastic, by the way. I saw somebody online say that it might make for a good Aquaman head, so I took this Justice League Endless Winter Aquaman, and I thought, let's do a head swap and see how that looks. Here's this Barry Allen head on the Aquaman body, and to tell you the truth, it looks great. It looks like a fantastic short-haired traditional Aquaman. So just one more option for this head if you get this figure. And here's a look at that head on an Azrael armored bat suit. Works okay for Jean-Paul Valley, the short blonde hair, but it's a little too smiling for Jean-Paul. And every time they release an unmasked superhero or villain, I try to make the civilian character out of them. Here's Barry Allen on a civilian body that I think works perfect. This is a Nega Ash from Evil Dead, and it just looks like a regular guy. Now let's look at the Speedforce effects. He has 4 of them, and they're all a unique sculpt. They're cast in a semi-transparent yellow plastic, and they have a little bit of give to them, so you can sort of wrap them around his limbs as if it's lightning or energy coming off his body while he's running. This particular set of Speedforce effects has been used 3 or 4 times on Flash so far. Here's his Flash in a running pose with the Speedforce effects attached. And now for the differences between this Platinum Speedforce Flash and the Flashpoint version. And it is 100% the same figure, same sculpt, same articulation, just a little bit differences on the legs. So let's take a look. Starting with their heads here. He's got that sort of grinning face. Great Barry Allen head. Let's go further down, exact same body, exact same diaper. Then the legs are a little bit different. He has a sort of semi-transparent thing going on and sort of glittery, shiny stuff all over it. And this guy has traditional, full, solid legs and boots. Beyond that, everything is the same. Now to look at the reuse and differences between the Flashpoint Flash and the Blue Beetle and Booster Gold figures. It's done in the Blue Beetle and Booster Gold body, which I call it that because it debuted in the Blue Beetle and Booster Gold 2-pack, but it's been used many times since then. It's sort of a generic body, but to me, those top 2 abs are disconnected, are very prominent and very noticeable. So let's take a look. So, he has the most in common with Blue Beetle here. Obviously the heads are totally different. The chest and stomach, exactly the same. The diaper is a little bit different. The arms, all the way to the hands, exactly the same. The legs are the same until you get to the boots. They completely added boots and changed that a little bit for the Flash. So it's exactly the same figure, except the head, the diaper, the boots, and the paint job. Here are all the McFarlane figures that utilize the Blue Beetle Booster Gold body. There are currently 22 of them. There are some differences with the boots, the heads, maybe the forearms. But for the most part, they use the same stomach, arms, legs, etc. Psycho Pirate uses some of the same parts, but not enough for me to consider him full reuse. There's some really weird stuff they've done with this. They almost all have the boots with the sort of weird cut at the top. And one of the first figures to use this body is Deadman, who has boots that doesn't have that weird cut at the top, which is accurate to probably 90% of the figures, and I don't know why they've never used it a second time. Just weird decisions like that make you go, huh? Now there are 2 more upcoming figures used in this body, and that is going to be the Justice League Task Force Flash, and I believe there's a Platinum Chase of that as well, and then Reverse Flash from the Flashpoint Thomas Wayne vs. Reverse Flash 2-pack. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at the figure and his accessories, let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, standing right at 7 inches tall, which can translate to just under 18 centimeters. And for his articulation, starting with his head, of course, he can rotate side to side. He can look up about that far, down about that much, not bad. Can tilt his head from one side to the other. Shoulders on a ball joint, goes out about 90 degrees, a little bit more, up, down, around. He's got that butterfly ring between his shoulder and chest, increasing the range of motion and covering the large gap that would be there. Bicep cut, double jointed elbows. His wrist can rotate and it's hinged as well. Torso is a ball joint, rotate around, forward and back. Another one is waist, rotate around, forward and back between the two. Very good range of motion in the torso area. Legs, completely does splits, McFarlane style hip joints. Rotation is pretty good on him. Legs go forward about that far, back not much. Double jointed knees, and then the ankle. Forward and back, rotate, tilt, rock, and of course, toe articulation. Here's Flash running through the streets of Central City. A little bit more of a frontal look at Flash running. Here's a look at Barry Allen Flash, and then Barry Allen in civilian attire in the streets of Central City. One from each different multiverse. And here's a look at both the Speedforce and Flashpoint versions of Flash running through Central City, breaking the Speedforce, entering the multiverse. Here's the unmasked Barry Allen talking to the unmasked Thomas Wayne Batman in the Batcave. He's catching him up to speed on what he's done to mess up the multiverse. Now let's check him out. Next is some of their action figures, starting off with some of the McFarlane Speedsters. Here's the Platinum Speedforce Flash, next to the Flashpoint Flash. Almost exactly the same figure. And this isn't the first time they made a Speedforce Flash variant. Here are the two Flashpoint Flash figures, next to the Justice League Ezra Miller Flash, and the Speedforce Flash variant of his. Once again, almost exactly the same figure. I fell for it twice, and looking over at the corner, wife's giving me a pretty shitty look right now. Then, next to the Injustice 2 Barry Allen, and now with the Flash TV series Flash figure, and now with the Page Puncher Barry Allen Flash, which a lot of time I use as a fill-in for the Crime Syndicate Johnny Quick. Here are all the different McFarlane DC Multiverse Barry Allen figures. They've done 16 so far. The next one to come out is the Justice League Task Force version, and I believe there's both a regular and a platinum. Here he is, with a couple of Wally West Flash figures. Then, with the Jake Garrick Flash and Max Mercury, another Speedster. And now, with Kid Flash and Impulse. Here's Barry Allen, next to the Reverse Flash and Godspeed. Then, with the Rival and Red Death. And now, with a couple of Dark Flash figures. Here are all the different Speedsters that McFarlane has released. Like I said before, next one coming out, and some people already have it, is the Justice League Task Force Flash, and I do believe there's a platinum version. And then the pre-order for the Reverse Flash and Thomas Wayne 2-pack drops tomorrow. There are a ton of other Speedsters on the leaked list. And since this Cyborg Superman is a Platinum Chase variant, I wanted to take a look at all the different McFarlane DC Multiverse Platinum Chase variants out there. Here are all the sort of older Platinum Chase variants. Gold, bronze, unpainted, and then some newer versions. And then here are all the more recent, modern McFarlane DC Multiverse Platinum Chase variants. One more to add to the mix. And speaking of Platinum Chase variants, although I have most of the modern ones, here are the ones I'm still on the hunt for. One Chris Reeve Superman, one Mr. Terrific, one digital Black Tux Joker, two Blue Noel Batman figures, two Batman vs. Bond Platinum figures, one Batman vs. Superman Armored Batman Platinum, two Justice League Task Force Batman Platinum, one Superman, Flash, and Aquaman, all from the Task Force wave, also Platinum as well. I believe that's everything that's on my want list, which is already out right now. But in addition to that, we've now seen photos of the Neo-Gothic Batman Beyond Platinum, the Silver Age Batman with Ace the Bat-Hound Platinum, and also the Platinum Page Puncher, Shazam, and Red Hood. Now let's check him out. Next to some other recently released McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here he is, next to the rest of his wave. This is the third digital wave. Earth 2 Robin, Speedforce Flash, and Silver Age Joker. Earth 2 Robin and Silver Age Joker are the regular releases in this wave. There's a Platinum Chase variant of the Joker in a black suit. I'm on the hunt for one of him. And then you have this Platinum Speedforce Flash, which is a Platinum without a regular version, which is weird, but sort of becoming not unusual with McFarlane toys. Here's this Flash, next to the Batman Beyond Batman that came with the Batmobile. And here he is, next to the Justice League Task Force Batman. I'm looking for the rest of this wave and all the Platinums to build both versions of Darkseid. Then, next to the Planet Ron Swamp Thing Mega Figure. And now, with the Amazon exclusive Court of Owls 3-pack. Here's Barry Allen, next to the McFarlane Toy Store exclusive Norm Brayfogle Batman. And here he is, next to the Batman vs. Superman wave. Both versions of the Nightmare Batman, both versions of Superman, Doomsday, all three versions of the Armored Batman, and Wonder Woman. Then, next to the Zack Snyder's Justice League, armored Darkseid with Throne. And now, with the 8th wave of Collector's Edition figures, both the regular and Platinum Chase variants of Lightning Lad, Simon Paw's Green Lantern, Geoforce, and Grid. And finally, with the Amazon exclusive Detective Mode Batman vs. Solomon Grundy 2-pack. And now, next to some Jack-specific wrestling figures, here's the Flash, next to a bag of biscuits. And here he is, next to some DST or Diamond Select toys. Then, next to some DC Direct and DC Collectibles figures. And here he is, standing with some NECA figures. Then, with some Mattel wrestling figures. And now, next to some Jazzwares AEW wrestlers. And here he is, next to some Mezco 112 collective figures. Then, next to some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse figures. And here he is, next to some Mafex figures. Then, with some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And here he is, next to some SH Figure Arts action figures. And finally, next to some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, this is a very nice Flash figure. I would say he is just slightly inferior to the last version because of the transparent legs, which are not very noticeable. Same time, they kind of are. As a whole, I think it works really well on the Blue Beetle Booster Gold body. The Flash's outfit is typically just spandex, not a lot of sculpting details, and it's a pretty generic body. With the extra boots, it works pretty good. I have some minor nitpicks about the wrists and the prominent abs, but as a whole, it's a good generic base body. This is one of the best Barry Allen Flash figures that's out there. The regular version, which I know was in short supply, high demand, might be the best Barry Allen Flash. Personally, I do really like the Rebirth version, which is the first one they made. Both very nice figures from different sort of eras in the comics, but both in their traditional looks. If I were to rate this guy, I'd probably give him an 8 out of 10. And I would give the regular version a good 8.5. His accessories are nice. The Speedforce effects, they actually suck. They don't attach to him quite properly. I don't think they were exactly made for this body. The Unmasked head is just fantastic, though. So this is D Hunter. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys real soon.